it's like you get so much outside pressure where it's like, what is the thing you're here for? What are you here to do? What is your big, and you're like, I don't know. This doesn't feel like it. This doesn't feel like it. Maybe this is it. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, now that's gone. That wasn't it. So now what is it?
Now
Like
what
all
is
these
it?
different
Yeah.
things. Yeah, yeah. And then when this all came through me and stuff, I was like, oh, that's simple. Can it be that simple? We complicate things so much. And really, it can be so simple. Why do we
It
try to
can be.
complicate so much? And then it's a matter because sometimes my brain wants to complicate things more and then coming back to it and being like, oh, and it's so freeing when it's simple. So then it's just like, oh, I really get to just be present and enjoy this journey and magic happens, and
Yeah.
being in the moment, it's like changes so much versus being like, holy shit, I'm already this age and I didn't find my damn purpose yet. I better hurry up and figure this
Better
out. Like,
hurry up.
what is it? What is it? I don't have much time. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm living it breathing it every single second. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
enough. This is good.
Hi, welcome to the Cody Lee Show. Thank you so much for being here. I am really excited to dive into this topic with one of my favorite gals, Miss Bobbie Jo, the topic of discovering your purpose. Now, I met Miss Bobbie Jo when we were in BodyMind coaching together, when we were actually studying and learning to be coaches. And I absolutely fell in love with her utter brilliance. She has a light in her that absolutely lights up the room and is awe-inspiring in its bubbliness and its simplicity and in its absolute utter beauty. And that's also what she helps inspire in others to awaken to their own light and shine it brightly because she actually lives that path every day. And I've seen her just dive into her little beautiful light and just expand it even broader and even wider, which is why I'm really excited to dive into this topic today with her, all about purpose and her new book, which I'm also really excited about, The Search for Purpose. So welcome, Bobbie Jo. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cody Lee. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you. I'm like, I wanted to touch my heart and I'm like, oh, my microphone's right there and I think it's on. So I'll be like crackling all over. I'm like, so thank you. And it brought me back to that moment too. Cause I'm like, hugging you is like hugging an angel, everybody. If you didn't get to hug Cody yet, it's just literally the most amazing thing. So I'm so grateful and honored to know you and to have connected in person and everything too.
Yes. Oh, same, absolute same. Well, I am excited for us to just kind of dive into the topic of purpose. I know that it's something that is near and dear to your heart. And, I would love to understand or talk about what is your journey with purpose been up until now and kind of right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and it's kind of like the journey and everything I share a little bit in the book. So I've always been one of knowing I have a purpose. What is my purpose? I don't feel like I'm living my purpose. There has to be something more, something's missing. So I had all of this seeking, all of this searching where I tried to fit in and do all the things you're supposed to do in life. And it didn't feel fulfilled. And I, would just keep like, this isn't my purpose. This isn't my purpose. And everybody be like, what are you talking about? Especially my husband, like, what is all this talk of purpose? Like, this isn't my purpose, doing this work, this job. I'm like, oh, I'm not fulfilled. This isn't my purpose. There's something else I'm meant to be doing. And, so it was always this search. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And trying to find it in another course, in another program, in another book, in another career, just that search is kind of what it was like in the beginning. So hence the title, The Search for Purpose,
Right.
is, yeah. So I always was seeking to find it.
And what for you, I feel like so many people can relate to that seeking, that constant searching and never quite finding what purpose was or is. So for you, I would love to know just kind of like, what does purpose mean to you?
Yeah. So that was the journey that it brought me on. This
Right.
seeking was just so frustrating, for me and everything. And I finally just surrendered. I got to the point that I just surrendered. I couldn't, I was so frustrated. And I just, like broke down, meditated and prayed. I'm just like, God, what is my gift? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is it? And in that moment, I heard like so clearly love.
Mm.
And when I heard that, this peace just like permeated everything within me. And it felt, I was just like, oh, I just knew. But then I was so confused because of this head that's been searching all of these years, trying to find it, and everything was just like, well, what the, like love? Like, what is
it's
that?
just, it's that easy? Like, wait,
That simple?
wait, what?
It can't be that simple.
There's not more to this?
Exactly. So I was so confused. And so I literally did. I just questioned God. I'm like, what? Like, is that enough? And again, I felt and heard that voice. It is all there is. And so that's where my search for purpose shifted. So for me, purpose, like in the beginning of my search and my journey, was that it was something I had to fulfill. It was something outside of me. It was something I had to find. It was something I had to do. It was something, that had to happen, kind of a thing. And then
kind
in
of like
that
you have
moment,
to accomplish.
yes, exactly. I have to accomplish something. I'm here to do something and that was the reason I was always seeking, because people ask you, well, what are you going to do with your life?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And you're like, oh shit, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? So in that moment of coming back, and then the whole journey, like with everything before then and everything, was coming back home to myself, from giving my power outside in the searching and trying to find myself outside of myself, my purpose outside of myself, everything outside of myself. In that moment, in that knowing and everything else, it led me back to my purpose is me. It's coming home to yourself. It's who you are. It's your essence.
Yeah.
So for me, our purpose is the divinity of our being, who we are, that essence of love.
Yes.
So it was just a matter of coming home to that, which sounds really simple, but when you've piled so many layers on and, lived in so many different ways of trying to meet all the expectations, be everything you should, find fulfillment outside in some form of something.
Yeah.
Coming back home and reconnecting to that part of yourself, so that's for me what I found, purpose was. So then I got curious, well, then what are we searching for? If it's really that simple, how can it just be that simple? What are we seeking for? And in my understanding, what I found and what I share in the book is we're searching for the experience of purpose, the experience of ourselves. So, and that's where the 3 E's are, to embody, express, and engage. So it goes deeper into each one of those, how to embody your essence, first coming home to yourself and getting in touch with that, expressing it. So aligning with yourself, your truth, and expressing from your heart, your values in that way, and then engaging, sharing the gift of you, interacting in the world. So it's actually quite simple, but yet we complicate it so much. So for me, that was my journey, was all in complication because of, the questions I was asked and the things you're watching and all the norms and status quo and all the things you're trying to figure out, where do I fit in, which one makes me happy, and what am I supposed to do, to realizing it's all within you and coming back home to yourself and allowing your soul, your intuition, yourself to guide you to those places.
I love that. I think so often I'm with you on, my journey with purpose is went from assuming or thinking that purpose was a doing, it was a job, it was
exactly
a accomplishment, it was something outside of myself that was like, you kind of read those, I don't know, I read supernatural books. So it's like the one person comes in and saves the day, right? And it's like their savior complex is their purpose, right? And I was just like, man, that's not what purpose is though. And I just so value, your story of coming home to the self, coming into the purpose of who you are is about your being.
Right.
It's about who are you being in the world? And that's way more valuable than what are you doing?
Right. And the thing with doing is that always changes. So when
Yep.
we say, this is my purpose is in doing this, and then it changes or it shifts or it transforms or it ceases to be,
Yes.
then you're like, I just lost my purpose. Like, what is my purpose now? And that's where we feel so lost at times, because so many things shift, our careers shift, our relationships shift, all kinds of things shift, oh, my purpose is being a parent. Oh, now they've moved. Now I'm an empty nester. What's my purpose? Or this job was my purpose. Now it no longer exists. What's my purpose now? Because everything's always evolving and transforming and changing. So when we know that our purpose can't be swept away, then we get to be, oh, how does my purpose get to express now?
Yeah.
So it gets to be more of an exciting adventure. Like, ooh, what's the next thing? Instead of like, oh my gosh, now what?
Now what?
Now what?
Yeah.
Who am I? Well, now what? It's like, oh, what's next?
What's next? What I hear and what you're saying, and it's something that I really identify with is, purpose and identity.
Yes.
Those are two different things, and purpose can express in any identity, where when we get attached to an identity as purpose, we lose sight of who we are capable of being in any expression of our identity. It's like, I am wife, or I am, a partner, or I am a daughter, or I am a mother. Those are identities, but those aren't necessarily purposes. They may help us fulfill some parts of ourselves, the joy of watching someone grow as a parent, the joy of falling in love and expressing love, but it's ultimately not the identity that is, the purpose. I thank you for sharing that. It was really great.
Yeah, because so many times we attach to that, and then it shifts where it's like, it's an expression of it. It's the way we get to express the love that we are. I get to express the love that I am, by, interacting with my husband and being, engaging the love that I am, and, and sharing, with people and speaking and, in relationships, in different things, rather than attaching to, I am this. And then if something shifts, and then you're just like, well, shit, now what am I? Who am I now? What do I do now? Yeah.
So in the process of uncovering, your own purpose, you talked a little bit about what you had to, in my words, I will say, decondition. You had to kind of unravel a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about that journey of like, what are some of the things you maybe had to slough off, the dead skin cells or so, like the old ways of thinking that you kind of had to surrender or let go of?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. And it has been an entire journey, because in all of that, in seeking outside and the doing and stuff, and also being one who, would be like the recovering people pleaser, wanting to make sure everyone's happy and meet all the expectations and be that good girl. And I did it right. I don't want to do things wrong, and all of these different things. Coming back home to yourself, to that purpose, and trusting that intuition, and knowing that you can do things your way, and that it's okay. So it's been a journey. Like everything's a constant journey. Sometimes I get to myself and in different things where it's just like, shoot, I knew better than that. But you have that awareness and everything. So for me, it's the unraveling of attaching my worth or my identity or anything outside of myself, of what people think, what people are expecting of me, and all this stuff, and knowing that who I am is enough. And listening, to my heart and my soul, and taking aligned action from there. And then it's true for everybody. When you're living from that divine essence of who you are and allowing your purpose to express from there, then it serves the greatest good of all, versus, when I'm looking outside first of, how can I, I'm doing this just to make this person happy, but I'm miserable, or I'm, all of these different things.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like over time your purpose can maybe shift or evolve?
Absolutely. Like the expression and forms of engagement. Definitely. Yeah. So for me, like what I found in my personal experience, for purpose and stuff, is feeling that grounded foundation, that it is the unwavering essence of my soul.
Right.
And that the ways that I get to experience that definitely shift and evolve. So my purpose is in every single moment, and it looks different all the time in the ways, that it appears, that it expresses, that it engages. So
Yeah.
everything is you being, and when you allow yourself to be in that space, it all becomes so much more magical. There's no more trying to force or to try, like obviously you try for things and stuff, but you're not trying to force, or you're open
Yes.
to the magic of things. And then the other thing I found, when you come from this awareness, you get to be purpose in every moment. You're not missing it. When I was out there searching so much, I missed opportunities because
Mhm.
I would be interacting, but wouldn't be fully present because, well, when I find my purpose, then I'll
Yeah.
really be happy and then I'll be fulfilled and then I'll be able to be present in this conversation. But I'm still kind of seeking and searching. So I can't be present with you out here because I still have to accomplish all of these things to
Yeah.
meet my purpose. But now when I get to let go of that heaviness of it has to be something I accomplished, it's that I'm doing it in every moment. It's like, oh my gosh, hi, I'm looking at you, your soul, your purpose, your essence of love. And I get to be fully present. And that means I'm serving my purpose in that moment because I get to engage and have a deep, heartfelt, true conversation with you rather than being focused somewhere else. So then you get guided to where you're supposed to be in what moment. All of a sudden you meet a stranger that you were
Yes.
meant to need, that they needed your smile. And in that moment, your smile was that purpose, your purpose, to share that and that we have no idea how much little interactions are really creating ripples of change and positivity or any kind of impact in the world. You're making an
Mhm.
impact all the time. But when you're so busy seeking for something outside that, once I check this box of purpose, get my shit together and I know
then
what
I will
I'm
be
here to
complete.
do,
Yes.
right? Then okay, then life can start happening. But I got to figure this out first. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear in that also, that it also gives us the ability to, there's actually a couple of things that came through when you were talking. One, it gives us the ability to drop into the present
Yes.
and be very, I don't even want to say purposeful, because I feel like being our purpose isn't we're going to be purposeful and intentionful. There's a little bit of heaviness that I feel like sometimes can come with that word purposeful, but it's like a softening into that present moment, and in that purpose, just seeing it unfold.
Yes.
And
And
the
then the
other,
beautiful shift
oh
with
no, go
that,
ahead. Yeah.
with purposeful, because that came through in there too. Feeling that is purpose and then full, two
Yes.
words that are one. So you're full of purpose. You're full of your light, your essence, and allowing
Yeah.
that to shine through. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that forward.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really love that you captured, can our purpose, change or evolve? Well, of course, because our being, like who we be in the world will grow and change as we grow and change. And that although there are, love may be at the core, there's many ways that love can express itself, can, be in the world, can meander and, just evolve. And I think that
Yes.
that's really an important thing that we don't talk enough about, that we want to find our purpose, but we don't realize that it's okay for purpose to also still be an evolution.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
beautiful.
And it's a
So,
beautiful one when you reflect back on all the different things because,
yeah,
when you really started doing something and you enjoyed it, now you've evolved and changed, if you were like attached to that and had to do that, forever, like just like reflecting on your life and seeing, the beautiful evolutions that have taken place. Yeah.
yeah. Why do you feel like sometimes, what's working with your clients, working with
Mhm.
yourself, what do you feel like is some of the biggest challenges to uncovering our purpose?
Well, that self-connection, allowing yourself to get still enough and to come home because it's so easy to be distracted
It's
by
so
so many
funny
different things. And yeah,
how we don't want to be still.
right.
It's like so
we don't
funny.
we don't want to be still. We don't, sometimes we're afraid, like, what am I gonna find, there and different things too. But just giving yourself permission that to come back. And it could be so many different layers. I know for me in all of that, because of having that, almost like people pleaser, wanting everyone to be happy, want to be, okay, who do I have to be to make sure everybody's happy?
Right.
Right. Well, then you're not fully being yourself. Well, you're being yourself, but not to the full, I wasn't fully expressing all of me because it's like, oh, okay, well, I better keep my voice, this way. I don't want to rock any boats. I don't want to, so
Right.
better swallow my voice here, or better just, bite my tongue over here, or better just sit back and be quiet, or, different things and stuff too. So sometimes it's, like feeling into that too, and coming home and being like, okay. And it shifts so much, once I came back and everything, it's like everybody just gets the best when they get the full you.
Yeah.
You have the freedom and so much joy. And when everybody's being authentic, it's like we get the gift of everybody, and it makes everything so much better. Like my relationships were so much better when I just be who I am versus, trying to be like, oh, this is how I should appear over here or
Yes.
over here. And it's just like, no, this is who I am. And then people are like, oh my gosh, drawn to you because you're authentic. You're being you. And that's what we all want.
Yeah. That's the magic. That's ultimately what we want to experience in everyone, for everyone. But
Yes,
it also is the thing that helps us feel the most connected to each other.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you were to go back to your younger self, now I assume you're probably a little bit like me, where you're like, I probably wouldn't change anything from my past, but maybe I would give my younger self some advice. So what would you give, maybe someone that is you only 10 years ago,
Right? Oh
or
my
the
gosh.
younger version of yourself, kind of like
Yeah.
words of wisdom or advice on the search of purpose?
Right. Right. Well, coming home to the self and realizing, not to put so much pressure that it's something you have to accomplish or do, or that it's out there,
Yeah.
to embrace who you are and enjoy the journey, and to express fully, like don't swallow your voice. Don't stay backstage. Don't hide, like just allow yourself, to shine. And it's so easy, to say, because we all want to feel that sense of belonging and stuff. And we're afraid of like, oh, if I'm, to this or to that or anything. But looking back, I'm like, oh man, but now I know now. So I'm like, okay, I get to live full out now, and know, when I feel those different things where I'm like, oh, because we're all human and stuff, to
Right.
breathe through it and allow that to come forth. But oh man, to just share the gift of you, to know that you're enough, that you are worthy, and the love and light and the uniqueness of you is exactly what this world needs. So just let it shine through.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you feel like for you? Like, what is your embodied experience of coming home to yourself? For people that don't
Oh,
necessarily
right. Yeah.
know what that means or know what that looks like, sounds like, smells like, can you describe that a little
Yeah,
bit for?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. In the book too, I share different exercises for each one and stuff
Oh,
too. So for
wonderful.
embodying, your essence is, it's, it can be unique for everybody. So it's what helps you to connect. For me, I love meditation. I love to be in nature. If I connect to nature, then for me, it's disconnecting from all the external noise and
Hmm.
everything going on, and allowing myself to find that place where I can just connect, you know, quietly, or with a meditation, with a guided meditation, with a silent meditation, just sitting in nature, just observing nature,
Yeah.
just like allowing myself to get lost in nature. Sometimes it's prayer or journaling, or just different things. It's like what calls to your soul to connect. Just feeling within and connecting to your breath, just taking a moment wherever you are sitting and just feeling it, like literally feeling the inhale and the exhale in your body, not altering the breath in any way, but just allowing yourself to feel it, feel yourself supported by that breath. And
Yeah.
then just bringing your awareness even to your heartbeat, feeling the heartbeat in your body, and just becoming aware of your body, just getting still and feeling those little sensations and stuff. And then in that moment, just realizing how held you are. I mean, when we're so busy out here doing all of the things, like you're held and supported, your lungs are breathing, your heart is beating, there's
Yeah.
energy flowing through you, making sure you are held and taken care of in every moment, and just allowing yourself to come home and connect with that and feel that divine support you have at all times.
How many of you, while listening, actually started to pay attention to your breath and could feel your heartbeat and started to notice your whole entire system slowing down a little bit and just like, oh yeah, I'm coming. Oh, this is where I've been.
Right?
Like even as you were talking,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, that's oh, that feels really good.
Yeah.
Even though I do
Yeah.
this work, I love being reminded. It's so supportive. And I love that word supportive. That was kind of actually my word for 2020 was supportive, and thinking about all the ways in which we are supported.
Yes.
I think is also a part of purpose, because so often we get lost in the to-do and the accomplishment and the going after, that we forget that our purpose isn't something, our purpose in a way is supporting us.
Right. Yep. And feeling that. Yeah. Because when you talk about those things, a lot of times, even too, like we're so busy taking care of all these things or all these people and stuff. And then when do we get taken care of? Well, even just taking that moment and just letting go and feeling yourself held, connecting to that breath and that heartbeat and realizing, okay, like you said, all those ways that if we just stop and reflect, how many ways are we supported and taken care of in our day? Just bringing in that gratitude of how much we have to be thankful for, how much we are held and supported, that when we're living up here and out there, it's so easy to miss, where it's just like, whoa, let's just sink within and step back and take this all in for a moment.
Yeah. And realign.
Yeah.
So what was your journey with writing this book? I kind of want to know about your, well, what all did you experience?
Yeah, kind of like with, any book writing, there's all the writing experience, where you like write it and, go through all the emotional stuff and things like that. The thing I found really interesting with this, so this was something that flowed to me because purpose was such a huge journey for me.
For you.
And the search for purpose and finally coming home, understanding it, and now living from this place of so much more fun. Because nothing I need to accomplish. Now it's just like, ooh, what do I get to express now? Ooh, I wonder where this is leading. This is fun. Where before it was a destination I had to reach and figure out. And now I'm just like, I don't know, this is really cool. I'm just connect to me and see where things go. The really interesting thing about this book is when I first got the 3 E's for purpose, it shifted a little bit when I wrote the book, which was really interesting to see. Because at first when they came to me, I was like, oh yeah, it's essence, expression, and engagement. And then when I started writing the book, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, there's something else here. And that's when I realized, okay, this is the way it's worded, is, the essence itself, that is the purpose. And then it's embodying, is the first E. So it's like the actual, like, here's the foundation. And then we're searching for the experience. And these are the 3 E's to experience fully,
that essence,
the purpose itself. Yeah. So that was the cool thing about writing the book, is how it all of a sudden evolved, where at first it was just like, okay. And I was like, oh, whoa. So even right there, evolving purpose.
Yes, exactly.
The way so that's full permission for everybody too. See, everything shifts and evolves, even as I was writing the book, the whole way to share it and express it itself kind of evolved a little bit to another layer where it's like, this is how it all comes together.
Yeah. I love that essence, that makes me think of, ultimately purpose is, it's a vibratory essence. It's not something that's tangible. It's not something that we can own or that we can hold or feel or touch, or even put entire words to, because those words itself can, as beautiful and as amazing as words are, they can also not fully capture an essence. I mean, love is a perfect example of an essence that is it has so many descriptions, so many expressions, so many ways of experiencing it. So that word essence, I just think, is really essential to this discussion of purpose, because essence ultimately is what it is, and essence is a vibration.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep.
So how do you kind of work with people? Or I guess really I have 2 questions. One is, what can people expect with this book? Because I feel like it's like part book, part workbook.
Yeah. And it is. It's part book, part journal. So I love to always create an experience for my readers where I want to take them on the journey, and versus just having more information, I want to give the steps to integrate it, to implement it, to, start to have those things transform in your life and so forth. So it's part book, it's part journal. So each one walks you through exercises, gives you exercises that you can do on your own. So I even walk you through that in more of a meditation with the breath
Yeah.
and the heartbeat and everything in there as well. So there's different exercises like that and journaling prompts and stuff to get you kind of reflecting and connecting in there. So to kind of, like how we described, it'll go into deeper to, my experience with purpose, what I believe it is, and the different ease to really drop in deeper and experience it.
Yeah.
So it'll go through some embodiment exercises, it'll go a little bit deeper into expression and connecting with values and everything, like aligning your authentic expression, different ways engagement and stuff can look like with there. And then it also talks about living in purpose and realigning with purpose, because it's so easy to know, even with things like this, where I know I'm human. I catch myself going through different things and feeling, different stuff. So then it brings you into questions of how can you realign if all
I
of a
love
sudden
that.
you feel that you've lost your purpose or disconnected from it, or you're out searching again and stuff. How can you come back? What can you realign? So it brings some powerful questions and reflections into there. And I share an example of, some ways that shows up for me like that. And then I realize, oh, okay, I'm looking outside of myself. What I'm, I'm measuring by looking out here versus looking in here. So how can I come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I value that, because I feel like there's so much grace that can be given when we realize that we can return, that this is not I also want to acknowledge also in kind of what you're saying is purpose is not a final destination.
Right.
It's an evolution. It's something that we sometimes get distracted and have to come back to and realign with. And that ultimately it gets to be a living, breathing thing expressing through our life.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's so beautiful. Well, how can people find you, find the book, all the things?
Yeah, absolutely. They can head over to my website. It's lovebobbiejo.com, love, BOBBIEJO.com. And you find everything there. So,
and I know you have some great
wonderful
meditations, because I just checked it out earlier.
Awesome.
I love your meditations, and she has some access to all her books. You can find all of her books on Amazon, and I will have some links in the description so everybody can easily connect with all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for honoring me and honoring my peeps today in sharing your story. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Until next time, have a beautiful and wonderful day.